Howdy, I'm Lucas with Ryze. Thanks for coming back for part 4 of this 5-part series with Andy Lopata. Andy shares with us how to listen for opportunity, give to your network, and even tell stories in order to build that relationship further. We'll dive right in. I guess then my last question would be something still kind of related. How would you train, this sounds kind of weird, but how do you train people to listen for opportunity? And yeah, go ahead. You already have a...
No, carry on, carry on.
I was just going to say, because I remember the example is that you have these like trigger phrases. So if you hear somebody say X and you just basically repeat those phrases to the people that you want them to hear.
Yeah.
Is that what you would do as well, or?
To a degree, yes. To a degree. The reason I laughed is I really like that you said listen for opportunities. I think we get we get language wrong sometimes, and I think the phrase we normally use, listen to people, is wrong.
Okay.
We should listen for people, because listening to doesn't apply you're actually going to do anything with it. Whether you're watching this video and listening for yourself with what you're going to apply, or I meet you at an event, or we have coffee and I listen for you in terms of I can help you, listening for something is a more proactive position.
I like that a lot.
I think it's so important, and I think it's missed. And the reason I came up with that years ago, because people always talk about networking skills at events. Always listen to people. No, listen for them. Because what happens, people listen to you at networking events. They will ask you politely, what do you do? And you will tell them, and they will politely listen to you. They're not doing anything with that information.
Yeah.
When you tell them, they can then go and do something. So the first thing is to give to your network, and that's one way you can give them support. Going directly to your question, how do you educate that network when they are ready? The first thing is wait till they're ready.
Okay.
Don't stop throwing who you want to meet at. Build the relationship. I work with my clients. They look at who their key champions could be, the people that can advocate on their behalf, and they score out of 10. How willing is this person to refer me? How do they feel in their gut if I ask them? And they do not ask until that score is a high enough level in their mind. That's their call when they feel that that's at the right level. So the first thing is you wait until you know that if I asked you to recommend me or refer me, you would respond positively even before you say anything. Inside your gut, you're going, yay, rather than, oh my God, get me out of this conversation. So timing is one.
Yeah.
Two is what I call the drip, drip, drip effect. We vary between two extremes. We either say too little or too much. So to give you an example of each, if you say to me, how are you? The common response would be, I'm all right. I'm okay. I'm good. I said to you, how was your weekend? Actually, I said to you at the start of the call, how are you? I'm reasonably well. And that's how we answer. Too little.
Okay.
We're throwing away an opportunity to educate our networks.
Dang it.
People do that because they don't think people are genuinely interested, and they don't want to shove their life down someone else's throat. But if you'd have said to me, how are you? And I'd have said, I'm really well, thanks, actually. I've got quite an exciting week ahead. I'm doing an interview for Ryze, and I've got a meeting with a potential new client. So it's really exciting. That's not too much, is it? I mean, you're not going to sit there going, oh, he's shoving it down my throat. Now, interested, which a lot of people aren't going to be, you say, that's nice. They'll say, that's nice. And that's your sign. Don't go any further. They don't want to know anymore. They're asking out of courtesy. Just stick with it, and But some people will say, oh, really, what's Ryze? Or what are you going to talk about in the interview? Or who's the new client? And they're giving you permission to educate them. So they're inviting you in. So that's where we say where we say too much is you've shown interest in me and helping me. You say, Andy, so explain what you do. I say, okay, I'm really glad you asked that. Grab a seat. I've just got these 15 files of examples to show you. Here's my portfolio. You've got 3 hours, haven't you?
Yeah.
Cram too much in. what we need to share with people needs to be two things: sticky and transferable.
Okay.
Sticky means people can remember it accurately. Transferable means they can repeat it accurately. The more you give people, the more they've got to forget, and the more they've got to get wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So keep it simple. I talk about taking the 10-year-old test, and that is tell a 10-year-old what you do or who you're looking to meet or whatever it may be. And I should hasten to say, not any 10-year-old, preferably one you know. Tell that 10-year-old and then get them to repeat it back to you in their own words, because the attention span of people outside your world is probably that of a 10-year-old. So if a 10-year-old can't do that, then you're using too much jargon, you're overcomplicating things. So you have to keep it simple. So the drip, drip, drip is when people say, "How are you?" You give them a sentence, a 10-year-old very simple sentence that they can understand. The next time, the same. The next time, the same. You explain stuff in simple, basic ways, and you create a story over a period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've done your homework and you know your network and you know what they do and you know who they know and you know what they understand, you can then decide what you share with people based on where you think they are most able, A, to engage with that information, and B, do something with it. So if I started talking to you about all of my contacts in, let's say, the pharmaceutical industry in Iran,
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to be able to do a lot with that from my basic understanding of your network.
Probably not, but
But if I start talking to you about some of my contacts in the States and some of the work I might be doing in social media space, I know you're going to engage with that and you're more likely to be in a position to help me. So I might look at my whole range of what I do. I call it my referral mix, the mix of people I want to meet.
mm-hmm.
I might say, okay, when I'm speaking with Lucas, this is what I'll talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And you gain a picture of what I do and who I do it for and how that's relevant to the rest of your network over a period of time. And that's
Yeah.
where relationships are so important. The other thing that's important within the whole range of this is stories, using examples.
Mm-hmm.
Probably used some in this interview without even thinking about it. In fact, yeah, I did. I talked about the company with their staff and how you engaged them. So always using stories, it brings things to life.
Mm-hmm.
People, stories have stuck with us through the ages because it's what people truly engage with. It's what resonates. It's how we used to teach our kids, and we still do to an extent. We just don't realize we're doing it. A lot of fairy stories were written to get across a moral, to teach our kids the difference between right and wrong.
Mm-hmm.
We do it through stories. So share stories about your successes, about what's fun, about what's happened, and people will be more likely to remember them.
No, I think you've made a lot of, sorry, not no, yes. I think you've made a lot of good points. And I was going to say that one of them oh, okay, yeah, sorry. One of them, which you were saying, was the kind of that drip, 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 or talking about, the right, or just talking about the right context with the person you're referring to. Like you said, not going to talk about the pharmaceutical clients. But one of the things that I've noticed as well is just telling people, hey, I do X, Y, and Z. If you need help with that, that's what I can do. And then kind of leaving it open so that way the other individual almost doesn't have to think about, well, what do they know that might actually be helpful, And so having those X, Y's, and Z's that you're proficient at or that you really want to help people in kind of makes that very clear right off the bat as to how you can provide value if you need to.
Yeah. Well, one thought on that is that, you remember I said earlier about selling through the room rather than to the room?
Yes.
That goes for your network as a whole. Very simple philosophy.
Okay.
All things being equal, I would much rather you refer me 5 times than buy from me once. Because all things being equal, that's 5 times more valuable for my business.
Mm-hmm.
But not only that, but if you trust me enough to refer me 5 times and you understand what I do well enough to refer me 5 times to the right people, if you need what I do, then you're going to buy.
Yeah.
So I don't need to say to you, if I can help you with this.
Okay.
I can say, who do you know who might be in this position?
Okay.
If that's appropriate in that place in the conversation.
Okay.
But I don't have to sell to you. That's not to say that if you show real buying signs or a real need,
Hmm.
that I can step in and sell.
Of course.
Uh, but that's when the timing's right.
That concludes part 4 of 5 of this interview with Andy Lopata. Hope that you come back for the last part. And until then, Andy's been kind enough to share with us his tips book on how to build business relationships, 10 steps on how to build a network of champions. You can find a link to that in the description below or in the accompanying post. If you'd like to learn more about Ryze, you can visit ryzeapp.co, and you can learn that we are building the Personal Relationship Manager, a tool to help you organize, follow up, and build better relationships. We'll see you in the last part. Bye.